Welcome to BizTech's SME Show, where we feature SMEs, both micro as well as large, sharing their entrepreneurial journeys and also imparting the lessons they have learned during that time so that you, the entrepreneur, can learn and do better. Now, today's featured company is Quetra Oils with its founder and CEO, Mourhrna Reddy. Now, we all have a very special version of our SME show today, as we will have a business coach with us. We have Jingjing Liu. She's the CEO and founder of Zazazu. Now, she's also the entrepreneur in residence at Insead Business School. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Now, Mourhrna, before we start on your business, let's find out, what did you do before you became an entrepreneur?
All right. Well, there's a lot of things that I did, but mainly I was into research because I completed my LLB. After I completed my LLB, I went into advocacy film content, where I had to go on ground and do ground studies and research on true stories, how to compile the true stories and convert that into a feature film. So that was my background. So literally, if you ask me what I did, I was traveling all over the world, looking at stories which has discrepancies, legal discrepancies, and then we were doing a lot of research on that. Yeah.
Okay, now tell us about Quetra Oils and how you started it.
Okay. Well, you see, film business, right, especially when it comes to advocacy film content, it is not really famous in Asia. When I came back to Malaysia, I realized that just with that, I will not be able to sustain. So I was looking at something that I wanted to create as a business, but honestly speaking, I didn't know how to start with business. Like I just mentioned, I come from a legal and film background. So I really don't know anything about business. Then I realized the common problem among Malaysians and Asians is the hassle. Literally hassle. Everybody most Malaysians, most Asians used to suffer from hassle problems.
Okay,
right?
So this is male and female.
Male and female, yeah.
Okay.
It's a common
So
problem.
Like me needs a lot of help.
I know. So I was actually looking at it, and then I realized that my family was into making these oils on our own. Like we've been making these oils based on this Ayurveda teachings, like Ayurveda traditions. So that is when I realized that this is something that I could actually make into a business. So I started off my my business, Quetra Oils, from hair product.
Okay, and how long ago was this?
This was in 2016. But you must remember, as a new business person, I wouldn't even call that as a business at that point of time in 2016. It was a trial and error phase where you wanted to do something, but then you don't know how this business thing actually works. So I was in the phase where I really didn't know. All right.
Okay.
I know there's a product.
So you didn't know, but what was your journey like? When did you really start being serious about the business?
When I realized that my friends were genuinely interested with the product, and they wanted to purchase the product. So I created this product, and then I was just doing it in a very minimum MOQ, like literally very minimum. Like we started off with 100 bottles and then see whether that could reach the market. Because you must understand, again, I would say, I didn't come from business background, means I don't know how to do marketing. I don't know how to do sales. I don't even know how to do bookkeeping. So literally what I did was, it's just word of mouth, friends purchasing it, and then seeing whether it could go somewhere or not. That is how I started. And then I realized that, you know what, this is not going to be just a friend and family kind of business. No, I really wanted to grow bigger. So that is when I realized that I got to take a drastic move in marketing this product. But I was also hit by a roadblock where I didn't have much capital.
Okay, and that's a common thing that entrepreneurs face. You're bootstrapping this business. You don't have a lot of capital. So what was your marketing strategy?
Okay, this is going to shock you, but this is the utmost truth. Okay, so what I did, I realized that this is not going to work much well for me in Malaysia. So I packed all the products and I went to Singapore. Actually got into a coach, called a friend, and I said that, you know what, I realized that there's going to be this Deepavali carnival somewhere. So let's just start selling there. And it was a scary move, by the way, because you cannot simply carry your products just like that on a coach and go to Singapore because you're crossing the border, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Well, praise the Lord. I actually did that. And again, praise the Lord, I got detained.
Oh, really?
But it's a good thing. It's truly a blessing in disguise because when I got detained, because I was carrying like hundreds of bottles, the guy told, I mean, the immigration officer told me that, girl, I know that you're trying to do something good here, but you need to get all your documents right. And but you cannot simply bring in all your products like this. And I realized that it is true, but I don't know what's going to happen to me at that point of time. And then I realized that he was kind enough to me and he said that, you know what, this time I'm just going to let you go with all your products. And I was stunned. Brian, sometimes, right, in life, when people ask me this question, do you believe in God? I tell you what, this is what God is all about. I mean, you could have just be detained and take to a detention center or they could just arrest you or whatsoever, but they didn't do any of this to me. I mean, these are the common problems that people do face, but I actually surpassed that hurdle. Not only I surpassed that hurdle, but also this particular immigration officer carried my bag and cleared me off, helped me to go to that particular venue where I could start my sales, and which I did. And
Wow.
from yeah, that happened. That happened. There you go. That's God. That's God for you.
Now, so at this stage now, so that was your start. And tell us now about who your customers are and how do you sell these products?
Okay. The thing is, right, I'll just go back to the story and I'll just continue it from there. See, when I started the sales in Singapore, a lot of people got to know about my product. So the awareness campaign started from Singapore and it was word of mouth. There was no advertisement carried here and there. No, it was just from customer to customer. So it's more on customer to customer base. Like, remember those days when they have this Tupperware party?
Yep.
Where they will just, yeah, that is how I grew. And that was in the year of 2019.
Okay.
19. This started in 2019. Yeah. So what happened was when I started going for events like this, I tend to meet more other female entrepreneurs. Like there will be other female entrepreneurs coming and selling their products. So I look at another female entrepreneur who's not in competition with my product. Means we can cross-sell. I'm from Malaysia, bringing in this product to you. You're from Singapore. Perhaps I can take your product to Malaysia. We can just cross-sell.
Okay. And collaboration is the way to go.
Exactly. So immediately I found another person there, another entrepreneur who became my distributor in Singapore. So now, because of COVID, that was the main reason why I'm not traveling. But that particular crossing that happened during all these events, live events, actually helped me to scout my own distributor. So currently we have distributor in Singapore, in Croatia, in Serbia, in Fiji, and also in Australia. We do.
So how do you manage that? Do you send them on consignment basis or they pay for it upfront or so far?
They pay for it upfront. Everything. See, the thing is, right, my business model is such that, you know, I don't like to burden my distributors. See, all the technicality of the product, let's say marketing, or if let's say there is any query, nowadays we have WhatsApp, we have Telegram, we have emails, we have so many other mode of communication, right? So you can instantly connect with customers around the world, right? So I become the face of the product. So whenever there is a question or there is a query on any of my product, my distributor channel them to me directly. So I handle them personally. But this is the model that we work on. We don't go on a big consignment. We work with smaller consignment every other time. So they pay upfront because they already have their customers, secured customers. So they don't feel the burden. That is how we've been rotating, like keep rotating. Once the product
so the capital cost on both sides is fairly low then.
Very low, yeah, correct.
Now at this stage, I think Jingjing, as the coach, I'd like to bring you into the conversation because you've had the opportunity to speak to and learn about Mourhrna's business in previous weeks prior to this show. Could you give us some insights into what your initial thoughts were in terms of this business and how she could potentially scale it?
Okay, thank you, Mona, for the great sharing, and thank you for Brian having me here. So when we had initially had the chat, I was like, okay, what is the problem actually? Because I don't see any problem. You have a great product, you market it really well, and in a way, you have already distribution arms into different various countries. I was questioning a little bit of the country strategy. Is it because Serbia, Fiji, all the country you have mentioned is not in the continent? So it's rather like a cherry picking. Is it by accident, or is there actually a strategic roadmap? You say, okay, once we conquered Singapore, the next adjacency in country should be this one. That was the first question I had. The second question, let's say first thing first, the good thing first. Mona says, so, okay, I don't know anything about business. I was a lawyer and so on and so forth. This is actually a big hurdle. It is not. It's great that you don't know anything about business, because very often, especially in the startup world, the knowledge is your barrier as well. Because you know many, many things. For example, a well-knowledge startup founder who has business background would never take the product naively, cross the border, go to Singapore. Yes. Never. This will simply not happen. Meaning what? The God sent message you actually got. There was a good things happen to good people as well. So that most probably will never happen. Which will most probably you will overthink a lot before you even enter Singapore as a country. So I think there are many, many positive upsides when you don't know the sense of business. Trust the gut feel, especially with women. I think the sixth sense is very, very strong. Having said that, you still need to, in order to scale your business, I think that the strategy, the marketing strategy in general is lacking. You're saying, okay, how do I actually plan to grow my business? I mean, just small consignment basis here, what you have mentioned nowadays, because of the upside of the technology, you can easily get into in touch with your customers, but you are a one-woman show in a way, because you are the face of the company. You actually can't afford to get in touch with various kind of customers. And if you can, your business is too small. If you cannot, it's a good thing, because then you somehow need to you need to find a way to scale up your business. This was my initial thought.
Now, can I ask you, Mona, based on what Jingjing said, particularly in terms of the strategy, would I say that your strategy was opportunistic in the sense that you met some people and then you said, all right, they were happy to collaborate with you and take your products? Is that how you initially grew Serbia and Croatia and so forth, rather than the natural thing? I'm sure some Jingjing and myself, for example, will say, okay, let's go to ASEAN and it's nearer, I can ship it closer, shipping costs are cheaper. So I'm trying to find out how you actually came up with this strategy.
Okay, I tell you what, they're all my customers. The customers who actually turned out to be my distributors. And
that's wonderful.
Actually, all of them were my customers. Today, my distributors, they are of course, they have their own business. They are in their own business field and whatnot, and some are professionals. But when they started using the products and they realized that, this product is not in their country, they quickly tap into the market when they say that, hey, listen, you don't have a distributor in my country, right? Can I be your distributor? So what is the minimum MOQ? Like, minimum quantity of order, and then we will take it from there. So that is how I actually got my distributorship from all these ladies. And I work very closely with the ladies for other reasons, like on my other businesses. I engage with a lot of female entrepreneurs and we get together online. And because prior to 2020, I used to travel a lot for my research work. So I tend to know them in person. So when I came up with my product, I sent to them as a tester, like, hey, come on, it's a gift pack, just try it and see, tell me, give me your feedback. So when I was doing my product testing, I sent out these products to them. Then when I realized that we are getting this market, I mean, literally we are getting these calls from other countries, like they wanted to purchase. Then I realized that I will not be able to send every single pack, like it's a small, tiny little pack. And then I'm paying such an exorbitant price for this shipping. So I realized that it would be much better if somebody were to carry it. And then I pick up my phone and I call these friends of mine and I ask them, hey, are you guys interested in this? Immediately, I got all of them on board.
Now, Mourhrna, can I ask, and Jing, you would probably be better equipped to elaborate on this. Have you thought of an e-commerce strategy? Because looking at your website, your product lends itself fairly well to e-commerce. Now, Jingjing, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, e-commerce is a must go. I think that what is great, you have started greatly, because I think this business, especially if you don't have profound business knowledges and network and so on, the best thing is is your face and your product. The product, as you rightfully said, I think today we can talk about a lot about advanced strategy, sales strategy. The best thing, word of mouth. If your customer become your distributor, I think this is like the most compelling story you can tell from the media perspective. If I buy, not only do I want to buy, I want to sell it for you as well, because it's so great. Great story. Then I think now it's time to stop the cherry picking thing, because randomly they are in Serbia, randomly they are in the US. Now let's build on what you have already achieved. These are already customers you have on your retainer base. Why don't you make a subscription model, for example, out of it? Yeah, you bring things online and say, okay, these are things that you already use regularly. You want to market it because it's so great and then profitable as well. Why don't we sell this kind of subscription model online, and then saying, go through this distributor, go through this unique link, affiliate link. You can actually get 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, no obligations, but we are just making your life easier, because once shiny hair, always shiny hair. You will have to, it does not, once you stop using it, the hair will fall again. Huh? So this is actually a great, if you already believe in that, it's a great opportunity to build on that, because they are already your advocates. So you are not actually I think subscription, everyone is trying to do subscription on e-commerce, even Amazon. At the end of the day, everyone's just doing, for example, dog food. Now you buy one package, you need it every month. So if you buy 3 months package, you get 8% deduction. Very boring. But if your customers, I think for your base, they are already very loyal, and then they already love what you are doing. And then how to make least effort, but with a bigger sales, track a bigger sales behind, through subscriptions. You are just basically building on your reputation.
Now, Mourhrna, given that Jingjing's very, very practical and useful advice in terms of scaling your business, can I ask, what are your key challenges right now? Is human resources and getting help for your business part of your key challenge?
Actually, to be very frank with you, I need more hiring, because we are growing, and I am also into other businesses. So I feel that, currently, like I said, this is something I started off as a passion business, something that it has its own natural growth. And I just wanted to see how far we could go and whatnot. And today that we are actually growing, we are expanding, I need manpower. I need people to look into the orders. I need people to look into the social media, where it has to be like intact. Every day there is something coming out about the company, about the product. And I'm also into product testing. This month we are coming up with a new product. We have combined both the hair oil to maximize the benefit for the scalp treatment. So all these things that I got to look into. And I feel that, as one person, I will not be able to look into a lot of things. So my company just did hiring at the moment. We just had 2 staffs coming in.
Okay, good.
The marketing arm, and also all the deliveries and dispatch, local and international currently. So this is what's happening. But at the same time, I realized that, I am not, I put it this way. I'm looking at it as, I'm looking at a steady progress, not just like a straight shoot. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at like step by step, steady. So once it's steady, the base is really strong. So we can climb one step, and then we can climb another step. That is what I'm looking at the moment. Because when the foundation is strong, then it's very hard for you to shake it.
So Mourhrna, can I ask, and I think Jingjing will agree with me as well. Who are you getting? Do you have a mentor or a coach or somebody that you can bounce ideas off on a regular basis? Because a lot of times, like myself as an entrepreneur, I can say one of the mistakes that I've made looking back in my entrepreneurial journey is the fact that I never got mentorship and coaching on an ongoing basis. after so many years in business, now I realize, wow, that is so important. Do you have any sort of help? I think that's one of the key things that many of us lack.
Well, to be very frank with you, prior speaking with JingJin, I had nobody in my life. Like I told you, I was just doing it whichever way that I could. See, the good thing about not knowing the business, don't know how to do the business, you just go with your gut feeling that you try and you try and you try, you fall, you get up, all that kind of thing happens. But then right after speaking with her, I realized that after our conversation, our first conversation, there is something that actually changed in the way that I look at my business model. I realized that these products are something that you keep using. You're supposed to be keep using so that you can maintain your hair, maintain your looks, maintain your skin. So I realized that the subscription model is something that would work very well with our business. So that I got to give credit to JingJin for that, because she was the one who actually initiated it. She put the thought in me and make me to think about it. So that I really appreciate. And from here on, if you're going to ask me who's my mentor, there you go. You see the lady.
So JingJing, can I ask you now, if looking at her business now, she obviously has now come to a couple of realizations, again, which is really good. Self-awareness that the value of coaching. So that's one thing. And if an entrepreneur is teachable, that's half the battle won. One other thing, and second thing is she's also changing her marketing strategy based on the coaching. Third thing she has also done is she has realized that she's overwhelmed and you need help. She has already taken action based on discussion and hired 2 people. What else do you think that she should be looking at in order to set herself up for further growth?
I think, it sounds, when you said, okay, you have already said 3 things, right? So setting up the team, realize you need help, setting up things. Make a business subscription model. That's a sentence that are said in 10 seconds, but that's a lot of work done. When you hire 2 people, they have to follow your rules, right? You need to onboard them. I think for the time being, I think that the pivot point is actually now, let me put it this way. I also mentioned before with the mentoring thing. I think actually for Mourhrna, this is the best time that we actually get in touch. If you would say that God sent in a way, it's the right time that we got connected, because I think if you would start the business from scratch, then already started mentoring with anyone, I don't think that's helpful, because you somehow have to trust gut feelings. At the end of the day, also coaches, what are coaches? These are people that have met a lot of business owners, see a lot of people fail, see a lot of people's success. Based on the experience we have, we pass it over. But for example, the crazy stuff you have done cross the border, these are things no coach will tell you that.
Will tell you, exactly.
No coach will tell you that. And you will never go to Singapore because you have to get FDA approval, this approval, that approval. Have you thought about this, that? Very often I realize that in terms of entrepreneurship, is that very often entrepreneurs are over advised but under supported. So whenever in the future, also, when we work together later on, or if you work with anyone else, you need to make sure that the mentor is the right one, in the sense of he needs to give you the right advice at that moment, which is executionable. For example, for me now, I can list a lot of things you can still do, but resources is scarce. As you said, let's build the foundation steady and slowly. And then once this foundation is steady, you can scale very fast. For example, subscription model. Now you sell occasionally here, occasionally that. If you can sustain the subscription model with your distributors, give some let's say reasonable discount, that one sales become 12 sales and monthly sales, that thing can scale very fast. But that requires you have to stabilize your supply chain, stabilize your the purchasing and all this kind of P&O and stuff. So I think that for now, it's the 2 most important things to do for the time being.
May I also add one thing, and this is a mistake for me as an entrepreneur that I've made time and time again over 20 years. It's about not focusing.
Absolutely.
One of the things, a lot of us entrepreneurs, we have some element of ADD or something like that. So we do lots of different things. And if you look at the common traits of the entrepreneurs that probably are more successful, it's about focus. So Mourhrna, I think one of the key lessons that I can share with you from mistakes that I've made is maybe you need to look at some of your other businesses and say, hey, can I put some of that aside and focus on this and make this really successful? And maybe that will then help accelerate, and then you won't feel so overwhelmed as well.
Brian, I have a counter for that, you know. Is it
Okay.
okay if I say that?
No, please.
I tell you what, I tell you, okay, this is how my life is at the moment, right? Because I have like 2 other businesses that I'm actually looking into, and I'm also very much active with social causes and whatnot. I feel that the moment you take men out of your system, you become very focused. Okay? Very focused. Take men out of your system. The moment that is out, it's super focused. I am super focused at the moment. As a joke.
No, of course, but that's true. I mean, and by the same time, for men with women, you take women out of the men can focus.
I'm like 100% focused at the moment. I kind of really like the adrenaline rush that I have, and now I do have a full-time PA. Like, she comes in and then she handles a lot of my thing for me, and she handles across all my other businesses. So I feel like, okay, now I know what are the things I need to do, and I am very much passionate about the social cause that I'm currently involved in. So I feel that, you know, the more honest you be, and then the more honest you talk to people, somehow or other it also reflects on my business, because I always believe a business with honesty and integrity. So somehow or other this too is actually working well for me. But yes, Brian, I will take your advice. I will slow down where I need to slow down. But I'm telling you, the one thing you take it out, you're super focused, man. Seriously.
Now, ladies, any final words before we end this very interesting conversation? Jingjing, your final thoughts?
My final thought, I think that it's a great business, and it's I think, I mean, so many, obviously you have differentiated yourself from many, I mean, oil. Oh, tell me about it, boring, huh? People are selling oil with hair, with essential, with God knows what. But then if you really manage to have this such, you know, it's also a tradition. I mean, India, in many other countries as well. If you really sustain that business as a essential for life, I think that this is somehow the mantra you could actually carry on to expand to other countries. I think that it's a great timing to have, you know, have to trust your gut feeling and not listen to any advices. Kick men out of your life, the next step, obviously, and really still follow on your heart. But I absolutely agree with Brian. Focus, but I focus on the business. Don't do too many things at the same time. Focus on 1 or 2 things, brief the staff, and then really have a marketing strategy ongoing, and then build the layer before you actually go to the next step.
Right.
And Mourhrna, final words from you.
Brian and Jingjing, thank you very much. I truly appreciate the earlier session with you, Jingjin, and Brian, thank you very much for connecting me with Jingjin. I tell you what, you can be an entrepreneur with a lot of inside input. I mean, like, from people give you a lot of input and whatnot. But when you get into business with nothing, literally when you have no knowledge of a business, I think that is the best thing ever, because you tend to believe your gut feelings, and then you somehow rather find a way. But every time when people say, oh, this cannot be done, that cannot be done, because you don't know the system, right? You somehow rather will tend to come up with a solution, because that is what entrepreneurship is all about. Where there is a problem, you find a solution. You know, that is the simple trait of an entrepreneur. And I am glad that I'm actually walking in that path with that kind of a mindset, because I feel that, you know, whatever that's going to come my way, I still will find a way. And I will still sail through that ocean. If it is rough or whatsoever, fine, it's okay. I will still go. I'll still find a way, right? And I promise both of you that I will stay focused and I will keep the man out of it. All right.
Ladies, thank you very much for taking time to be on the show. We've been speaking to Mourhrna Reddy, founder and CEO of Quetra Oils, and her coach for today, Jingjing Liu, CEO and founder of Zazazu, who's also entrepreneur in residence at Insead Business School, on BizTech's SME Show. I'm Brian Fernandez. Please check out www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations.